fine. They sharpened up nice. I mean, I really didn't have any complaint for them. But then, like, one day, I'm cutting up chicken, and I'm like, what the fuck is this black stuff in here, you know? And like little black dots on the chicken. So then, like, I opened my hand up, and I got little black dots all over my hand. Like, the handles on these knives were just like peeling. And
I think it was like supposed to be a grippy, like.
Yeah, like they had like a little coating on the rubber hand, on the black plastic handles or whatever, and it was just failing, you know. Yeah, and so like I didn't have literally like I just made fried chicken the other night. I had to cut up like 16 chicken breasts because there's 6 people in the house, so it's always like I'm prepping for a restaurant. But anyhow, what I end up having to do is I end up putting a rubber glove over the handle of the knife I wanted to use and taping it up with some painter's tape, just so I didn't have to worry about picking black plastic out of the dam. Yeah, it's just really, really, really annoying. I really, really, really love, like, just sitting here carving again. I really do. It's like, I got the bug back again, and that's all I want to do is carve. I don't know, like, I had a commission, sort of, and the whole time I was making it, the guy who wanted it is here every day, watching me make it, and as soon as it's done, he's gone. So, like, you know, I hope that I hope I'm just reading too much into it and he's just got personal stuff to do. But it happens. Yeah. Like, it's one of the, like, I'm not really I'm kind of a little bit bummed out because, like, I really thought was going to have, like, a good thing going there, but yeah, it's alright. So I'll give you like a little peek here. See this here? This guy? He's, you know, he's cute enough. I mean, yeah, like, he was in a gift shop, and but it's funny because I feel like one guy carved them and then handed it to another guy and they painted them. Because if you look close, see this groove here? Like that's the mouth. And then this is where my OCD comes in, but here's you know, the nose, and then the mouth is all the way down here. See what I mean? Yeah, and then like, so there's what this is what I looked at this kind of briefly, but I'm kind of only want to get an idea from this one because I want to make mine look cooler. And you know, it's really up to Michaela if she wants me to mess with hers. I feel like they just dipped it in paint and then sanded it to get the hand carved edges look. And I'm not gonna do that at all. I wouldn't do that if somebody asked me to do it. It's so obvious when you go into some gift stores that some stuff was just like, they just probably like wrapped a wire around this thing and dunked it in a bucket of paint and let it hang over the bucket. Yeah, it is. But you know, those things are probably they're probably made in Mexico or China or Taiwan or something, and they got 12-year-olds there with carving knives sitting around carving all day, you know. Which, I mean, I can't blame them. If they can feed their family doing it, then that's great. You know what I mean? I have a lot of things that I want to carve. I just want to like, for example, I want to do an alien, but I want to wait till October to do the alien because, you know, it's going to be like a Halloween type of thing to carve an alien. And I've been thinking of doing a Jason mask. Then again, I need I really wish I could find a place near me that I could buy the wood and go hand pick my own wood out. 'Cause I've been disappointed way too many times, you know, with buying some stuff online and such. Especially wood. Yeah. Well, I'm really not in a position at all to make a big order either. I have such a very limited amount of resources right this moment. Yeah. Do you have like a little online store to sell your rings at, or do you just make them? You know, how do you move your merchandise? If you don't mind sharing. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we want to do too. Unless you mean you're gonna start your own website and everything. I think I'm content with maybe a little eBay store or a little Etsy store or something. I don't. For some reason, something's telling me Etsy's not the. And I forget where I heard that. But I mean, I see people on there doing a lot of business on there. I just don't know. No, I got you. Yeah, that's cool. I don't I don't know that that's something I don't think that's something I'm headed towards. I'm just thinking I just have to look at the the bottom lines and the costs and stuff and see what's right for me, you know. Like, I know eBay charges you whether you sell anything or not. And I would certainly like to have a place that didn't charge me just for listing the items. But, if I have to pay to list them, then, you know, I'm going to look for the best deal as far as that goes. Squarespace. Let me write that down. Yeah, any kind of any knowledge you can share with me would be awesome. I'll tell you one thing, that the anchored albatross, I was really impressed with the quality of their work. Man, it looked like a computer did it. It was like the shading and shit was really way better than I expected a wood burning thing to look, you know. I've been looking online and such, and at wood burners, and every time I search for wood burners, like the tools, I always find like somebody listing their wood burning that they made. And I'll tell you, like, I haven't seen anything that looked like what she was making. Like, I really don't even I didn't even expect to see that kind of wood burning, you know. But I mean, I used to do a lot of drawing, a lot of painting, a lot of stuff like that, and it definitely I was looking at some cheaper wood burners that had good reviews, but you know, even though I'm saying it's cheaper, like, it wasn't that much cheaper. It was like saving $40. And I think as far as saving $40 goes, I'd rather spend the $40 and get something that I feel like will outlive me, you know. Yeah, for sure. But honestly, like, all the research that I needed was watching how fast they could just make a line. And then when they switched to their shader and stuff, I was just like, wow, that's the one I need right there. It surprises me that there's a whole lot of talent on Twitch. I really really been impressed with the amount of talent that I've seen on here. I haven't seen anybody cutting any gems, but that sounds pretty cool. I have actually watched a show where the guy had like the stone in this special vice, and like he turns a knob and it turns exactly like a 30-second, and then he just pushes it forward and it goes on the stone on, you know, bzzz, makes that facet, and then he pulls it back, turns one knob again, puts it back in, and it does another one, and then I'm guessing that it's all predetermined by mathematics. And it's really cool. I have seen it done. I haven't seen it done on here. I'm really interested in like carving gemstones too. Can you hand me like that little black bear?
Yeah.
When you get a minute. When you get a minute, take your time. What you're doing is more important than what I wanted to say. I just wanted to show him what I'm talking about. He does classes on cutting gems, you mean? that's not something that I'm going to be getting into because I can't afford the gems. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you got to be able to afford the gems before you can cut them. And that, I'm sure that you have to, on top of that, you have to allow for a certain amount of, I didn't get it right. This thing here is now crap, you know? Like when we're talking about a $3 chunk of wood like this, you know, it's not that big a deal to screw it up, but when you're talking about even like a $30 piece of gem, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got you. Do you actually have a machine that will polish a facet though? I'm saying that right, like that's what they call each one of those little shapes on a gem, a facet, right?
There you go. This one?
Sure. I just like, have you seen these little things, Randy? Like this is a little bear carved out of obsidian. And it's really heavy and it's really cool. Like, but I'm assuming that people are using like a diamond bit on a Dremel or something similar to that to carve this. I never tried to even scratch one of these with a gem because these are precious to Michaela, because you know. But I've been curious about buying a couple pieces of obsidian and trying to carve it. Yeah. I actually watched somebody for about 5 minutes. They were carving runes into stones, and I really don't know. Like, I don't know what they were. If it was something brand new to them, but here you go, babe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wanted to give you back your baby before he got dropped or something. Oh yeah, I got you. I do. But then, like, the same thing with wood. Like, if I'm not correct, just tell me I'm not correct, because I'm not trying to be correct. But like, for example, like, see this piece of wood here? This is, if you go into a store around here and ask for mahogany, 9 times out of 10 you get this wood right here, which is technically sapelli, and you know, it actually carves really nice and takes a good shape, but it's like $10 a foot, and you know, so you know, and you have to buy like an 8-foot length, so you know you got an $80 investment, and I can tell you right now, that this basswood that I got here is carving a hell of a lot easier than that will carve. But so that's my point. Like, if you practice on glass, and then you move up to a ruby, say, is a ruby a lot harder to cut than a piece of glass? I don't know, but I would imagine that the reason why a diamond is so damn expensive is because it takes a hell of a lot of material on your tools to cut them, you know?
That's how it works in Minecraft. Right?
Yep, you're all right. Like, what I'm saying is, like, I could, that fireplace that I got right there, that I'm holding the piece for in my hand, if you can see that picture above my head there, that piece right there is carved out of mahogany, and it's like, it's a lot harder. You gotta sharpen your tools a lot more when you're carving mahogany. It's, like oak, for example, you know. Exactly. So, like, it is the practice that you're getting on glass, is it viable? Like, are you comfortable after you've cut 10 stones out of glass to grab a hunk of ruby and start cutting? And for the record, I do tend to psych myself out, like carving that fireplace thing. You know, that's after you get about halfway into it, and it's starting to really look good. That's when the next, you know, when I'm sitting there, I'm like, to mess this piece up. This piece here is the biggest part of the whole damn thing, you know. And like, I wish I was exaggerating, but that's exactly what's going on in my mind when I'm doing that kind of thing. It's like, don't mess it up now. I was really hoping somebody would follow me or do something so I could see. Like, I did all the testing and stuff before I got on, and it looks like all my alerts are working. I don't know if I'm going to keep the alerts that I made, or if I'm probably still going to tweak until I decide to quit Twitch. I'll still be tweaking. That's the OCD. Pardon me. Since the tools and grinders are always the same, it does translate well. Yeah, I got you. That's cool. That's cool to know. Like, I don't really I'm guessing that they just carved that obsidian with like the diamond tipped Dremel bits and such like that. And like everybody that I've watched do that kind of stuff, they always say, don't buy these bits from here because they're crap, and don't buy these bits from there because they're crap. And I gotta admit, I heard so much about where not to buy stuff, I just don't know where to buy the stuff. Like, I don't mind spending, if I want to start carving obsidian, I don't mind spending $100 on a set of diamond grinders that, you know, are going to do the job and continue to do the job. I don't really know if something like that is maybe that's the kind of thing where you can only make 2 of those bears before you have to replace your bit. You know, I don't know. I saw Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight has like some of those tools, but all of the reviews show like the diamond stuff falling right off of the bits, which I really, honestly, I did expect to see that. Harbor Freight is great for certain things, but excuse me a minute, I gotta I can't wait till 2:30 again tonight to take my pills. Be right back in 1 second. So yeah, one time I took my I filled my container up one time. I take 2,000 milligrams of metformin every night. It's for my diabetes. It's like a something that really helps your liver and all that stuff, because my liver and my kidneys were damaged, you know. Yeah, exactly. Like I almost bought a toolbox from Harbor Freight. Like, I actually went and looked at it twice, and I was really almost going to buy it, and I watched a couple of reviews on it, and I was like, I'm talking about like one of the big toolboxes with like 12 drawers in it, you know. Like the Husky counterpart, like the big, not the Big Lot, the Home Depot. The Home Depot counterpart was like $600, which we're still not talking about. Like, it's expensive. That's expensive to me, but like for a mechanic, most of those guys spend $3,000 and $4,000 on their toolboxes, you know, because they are trying to, you know, most of them leave their tools in a garage, you know, so they don't want anybody stealing. But I looked at them, and you know, I think it was like saving like $150 to buy the Harbor Freight toolbox, and I drove poor Michaela all over Tennessee looking for the right toolbox that I wanted, and
What?
talking about the toolboxes at Harbor Freight.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, South Carolina.
I said, I've never been.
Yeah, I never did any shopping in Tennessee either, but my mom lives in Tennessee, and I was literally just thinking about my mom because I didn't hear from her at all tonight, which is kind of unusual. Especially she's been really excited. Hey, Standing TW Leather, how are you today? I don't know if it was my connection or your connection. I did come to your channel today to watch you, and either my internet or your internet was going. I don't know if you know if it was yours or mine. It might have been mine. Yeah, I think I watched about 12. I watched about 12 commercials. Just trying to tell you that I was there and watching you, and I kept getting bumped out of there, and I just but I am gonna definitely try to catch you again the next time you're on. I saw like you had your boy with you, and I think you were working on a wallet, but I really couldn't hear what you were saying because of the internet was just, you know, it could be yeah. I've had it here. Our internet doesn't always do great. Okay, great. Yeah, I did try to talk to you, but I couldn't see if you saw me. I didn't every time it cut me out, it kicked me out of the channel and brought me back in the channel, and it was like I said, I was about 12 commercials in, and then I think that you might have went to somebody else's channel after that. No, don't be sorry at all. I totally understand you. Yeah, no, that's cool. I definitely was I heard you talking about I heard you say something about using a hard insert inside of a wallet or something. Is that what that was about? Oh, I hate the damn dentist. I feel for you with that one. I had more than my fun at the dentist. Yeah, I've always been curious about leatherworking too. How long have you been doing leatherworking? Oh, yeah. I've had all my wisdom teeth pulled, and my two ones all the way in the back, like the very back ones, they were impacted, and they had to cut them into 3 or 4 pieces to get them out, and I was in pain for days. It sucked.
Case just got his wisdom teeth out.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow. So I decided to make a little bear today. Not really going for realism or anything, just trying to make a cool little bear. But thanks for coming back and checking me out again. I've just been sitting here talking to Randy Radioactive. Thanks. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. There's a couple things where I didn't like where it was going, and I would just throw the piece in the trash, but this is going to come out fine. And luckily, lately I haven't really had too many things to go to the trash. I haven't had to throw away anything that I did on the stream yet, anyway. and she means a real bear, too. She'll settle for a dog that's as big as a bear, too.
That's what he just said.
That's what you just... That's so funny. That's really funny, Randy. Yeah, she said that will suffice, but she's been trying to get that for quite a while now. And honestly, if we had our own place and enough room and all that stuff, I wouldn't have a problem with a big dog, because I like them too. Oh, thank you very much. I just read your about me having talent. I've been making things out of wood for quite a while. I just I like to, like, this particular thing, like, usually I don't really have, like, for this here, I didn't have anything to go off of. Like, I never saw a dragon in this position or anything, and in the last couple of minutes I decided to put a little heart there and give this to Michaela. Like the alligator, I didn't even look at a picture of an alligator to get it. I just started with a little block of wood and carved an alligator. But in this case here, I got this at a gift shop, for Michaela one day. I was looking for some Christmas presents, and I liked him. I mean, I like him. He's cute, and I always felt like after I bought him, I always felt like I could have did better. So I've been threatening that I was going to actually fix that one, but like, you know, that's a gift. And I'm sure she wouldn't really mind if I did it, because I think I could improve it. But there's too many things I don't know. Like, I don't know what kind of wood it's made out of. I don't know what they carved it with, and so because of that, like, I'm just kind of, I'm kind of a little bit worried that if I started messing with it, that I would find something in it, like maybe a bunch of knots or something, and it would be really hard to carve it or something. I don't know. It's my OCD kicking in and defeating me before I even start messing with it, you know. I feel like I could improve it. Yeah, I do. Well, my grandpa was born 1919, and he was the oldest son, and they all lived in a one-bedroom house. No indoor plumbing. They had a wood-burning stove, and that was heat and what they cooked on. And they were so poor that they used to go around Christmas time. They used to go around and pick all the magazines, all the Sears catalogs and all that stuff out of the trash in the neighborhoods, and you know, use them for toilet paper. And you know, he told me all about how they used to have to, about every 6 months, they would have to dig a big giant hole and then move their outhouse to that new hole, and then fill in the old, you know, the old cesspool there. And that was one of the things that he hated to do the most, because they didn't have any machines to dig with. You know, it was a mess, you know. But anyhow, he ended up with 8 brothers and sisters, and like I said, he was the oldest kid. And at Christmas time, they didn't have any money, you know, and so he carved all his sisters' little dolls to give them for Christmas, and he carved his brothers' little boats and little cars out of wood. And I seen some of his brothers actually kept the little cars, you know. And I've only ever met one of his sisters one time, and his other sisters moved to Texas, and I don't know. I've never met them. And I think they're all passed away now, but I still have, like, their daughters and sons contact me on Facebook once in a great while. But either way, like I was saying, he used to carve them all toys, you know, and he ended up being like one of the sole providers in the house. He actually ended up quitting school before the 8th grade. He quit school before 8th grade and got 2 full-time jobs to help bring money in the house for food. And he drew me a picture of how they used to live. They had inside the house, they had little, like, they looked like shelves, you know, and they had big big pillows that they sewed together, you know, and they sewed them and they filled them up with newspaper scraps. Every once in a while they would find something they could pull stuffing out of and stuff them into the, like, sometimes, you know. And so they their beds basically were folded up flat against the wall during the day, giving some room inside the house. And they literally had, the house had a dirt floor, you know, they didn't even have a wood floor. And yeah, so he did everything. Like, back then, I guess people just abandoned, you know, there wasn't junkyards and stuff, so they would abandon a car. And so him and his brothers pulled a couple cars out of the weeds and the marsh that got abandoned, and they took them all apart and fixed them up, and that's what they drove around. And they used to go and pick trash and get the metal out of the trash, and he would find wood in the trash and carve toys. And he carved me a couple of toys too when I was little, but we had a dog and he chewed them all up. I would have loved to have it. Like, the detail, he carved me these little tugboats out of wood, and they were about 5 or 6 pieces, you know, like little smokestacks. But he would sit there at the table with just a, like, I have, like, he would probably laugh, because, like, this set of chisels was like $200 and some, you know, for the whole set. And, you know, he did all his stuff with a penknife. But I'm not embarrassed to use all these chisels, because carving this stuff with a penknife is not very easy, let me tell you. That was called whittling, and I carve. You know, right? Yeah, I definitely do remember them. And he used to make this little thing he called the walking man, right? And it had like a little wheel on it, and it had a stick that you put in the man's back, and when you would roll it, the man's feet would move up and down like he was walking, you know. And it was pretty cool. It was a lot like, if you ever saw like the digger dog thing that you put, I think that's a pull toy. You pull it and the dog's legs go up and down. But yeah, that was he used to make that. He carved some animals. And when I was little, he was working as a machinist and a mechanic and a welder, and all for the same boss, but that boss had several different businesses, and he worked for every single one of that boss's businesses. And yeah, he told me a lot of funny stories about how like, one day he was making, all the old timers used to call him the Wizard, because they said it was almost like magic how he could fix anything and do just about anything.
Like you with wood.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely picked up a lot of his talents, for sure.
Strong genes.
And well, I have pictures that my grandfather took of me and my first Christmas. Now, I was born in April, so I was 8 months old for my first Christmas. And he has pictures of me, and he bought me this big truck. And the truck had like a trailer on it. And you know, he spent the whole night. He told me this story as an older child, but he spent the whole night putting this truck together, getting it all ready for Christmas morning, you know. And he said the first thing that I did was walk over to the truck, and I started taking it apart. Now, I'm 8 months old, and I'm taking my toys apart at 8 months old. And he actually took pictures of me doing it too. And it's funny because like I always see things like I have a couple people in my life that have autism in their life, you know. And I think everybody thinks that I'm undiagnosed autistic. And I know I have bipolar with mania and OCD and anxiety and all kinds of stuff. But I always, for example, like something like this chisel here, like I just know how this is put together. And like, you know, they take this steel shaft and they stick it down into the wood as far as they go, and then this ferrule here goes on over it and it's crimped, and that's what keeps this from coming out. And if they don't do that job correctly, this chisel's loose and you can't really carve with it, you know. But the people that made them chisels did a great job on them, because Swiss Made makes a damn good chisel. But like my grandpa used to bring radios home. People would throw a radio away, he would bring it home, and he would sit there and mess with it, and most of the time get it working. And as I got older, he used to bring me stuff home and let me mess with it. And you know, it's something that I really, really, really enjoy doing it, like so much. And but it's really, I really don't know how to explain it, but there's a Ben Affleck movie where his job is to reverse engineer things, and I forget what it's called. If anybody knows, you know, please feel free to share it. But basically, his job was to go buy like the newest iPhone or whatever it was, and then he would take it all apart and put it back together a little bit different and get a new patent for his company and make the company millions of dollars, you know what I mean? And that's what the movie was about. It was about they had him do something that, you know, he shouldn't have been doing or something, but in the movie he had like a really high-tech computer program, and I don't know if you can see my hands, but like he had these things on his hands that like he could gesture, and it's not how I see things, but it's really pretty close to how I see things. And I really you know, like, I look at this here, and I know that, like, I know how they put this together, you know, and it's just, and I just, you know, I can tell when something's not put together right also. And I've always overanalyzed everything in my whole life, and most of the time, like when I was 7 and 8 years old, I got all the Star Wars toys. The first thing I ever did was pull the head off of Darth Vader, pull the head off of Luke Skywalker, swap them back and forth, and you know, and I would, you know, some of the Star Wars toys had a Phillips screw in the back of the body, and you would take that screw out, and then the arms and the legs would all come off, and you could you know, I would swap them around a little bit, and all the little plastic swords that came with the Star Wars toys were garbage. You know, they were little, really, really cheap plastic. And so what I did, I went through my grandpa's stuff, and I found pop rivets. And if you look at a pop rivet, just in case anybody doesn't know what a pop rivet looks like, it's, you know, it has a head of a nail and comes down, and then it has like a little flange, and then usually it's cut on an angle like a little sword. And they really, really look like little swords, you know? Yeah, that's awesome. But, like, every one of my Star Wars toys, and what I used to do was I used to paint, I'd paint the nail part of the pop rivet, you know, red or blue or green or whatever. And I would use those as the lightsabers because, first of all, the pop rivet was bigger, so you had to force it into the figure's hand, you know? And once you forced it into the hand, it was really hard to get it out. So, like, if you ever tried to have a little sword fight with those guys, you would know the swords always, every time you would smack them together, you know, pretending like you were playing the movie, they would fall apart. And so I had a couple of friends of mine that also loved Star Wars, and they came over to my house and saw that I had a whole collection of pop rivet lightsabers painted up and everything. And yeah, that's cool. That's really funny, man. We definitely have a lot of things in common. But yeah, pop rivets were the best swords ever for those little guys. Well then, as I got a little older and I was still playing with that stuff, I used to take my pop rivet and I'd put it in a pair of vice grips and go into my grandpa's tool shed there and get the grinder, and I would grind little bevels on the pop rivets and take it to the next level even after I got older to make them even look even more like swords and stuff, you know. Then I was playing when I was in the 80s, well, yeah, in the 80s, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons quite a bit, and I loved painting all the miniatures, you know. In fact, after so many arguments and stuff with kids I was playing with, half the time I would enjoy sitting home or sitting at my friend's house and just painting the figures almost more than playing the game. Well, one time, me and my friend, we used to always modify those lead figures. And, you know, there's things in the game like green slime. When the green slime gets on your character, they start melting, you know. And a lot of that stuff had so what we found out is if we took a cast iron frying pan and set the cast iron frying pan on top of the kerosene heater that we were using to get heat in the shop there that we were painting in, that the character would actually melt. And as they melted, it would melt really slow, but the base would melt first, and then the character would start to fall down. And I will get these out of the storage because I want to show them off on my stream, how I used to paint them and stuff, you know. But I used to let them melt, and then I would take a screwdriver and push their arms and their legs to where I wanted them, and then all we had to do was just pour water in the cast iron frying pan, and it was instantly a hard piece of lead again. And we made several different characters like that, and they looked a lot better than any of the representations any of the companies that made the pieces made. So I always really dug doing that. And then it was really easy also. I used, every once in a while, I don't know if anybody ever played with those little lead figures or had any of them, but every once in a while you would buy one and you'd open it up, and the one whole side of the face would be really deformed because they used like a hard rubber mold to make those lead figures, and the hard rubber mold would almost always they would fall apart, and then have to make new ones and stuff like that. Well, whenever I got a piece like that, and sometimes I would look in the package before I bought them and see that, and to me that was like the perfect example. Alright, Standing Leather, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for the lurk. But every once in a while I would see that deformed face and I would just think, you know what, I'm gonna roll with this. And sometimes I would carve, like I would take a really good looking character, because all the zombies that they sold looked like crap. So sometimes I would take like a real character with armor on that looked really good, that they put a lot of work into, and I just take an X-Acto knife and stick it right in the eyeball and carve a hole, and then I would carve the whole side of their face off. And you could heat up soldering iron and actually push it right into the lead and stir it around a little bit and make it so flesh looked like flesh was hanging off of the faces. And you know, me and my friend Barry, we always had the best looking zombies, and realistically we always had the best looking characters too, because he was like a genius when it came to painting figures like that and stuff. And he would say, he would say that he was just okay, but he was really great, and he was really good at painting models and all that stuff. And me and him got into um, remote control cars, and he always had the best paint jobs on his remote control cars. And I got into a couple D&D circles, and people were paying me to paint their characters for them, which was really cool. I talked about this in the stream before, but every one of my grandpa's brothers used to swear to God that my grandpa invented the pickup truck toolbox. And honestly, I really feel like it might have been possible. Because 1973, he got a brand new Dodge Club Cab, and because he wanted a pickup truck for hauling stuff, you know, and all of his tools that's cool. All his tools and stuff, you know, he was always really protective of, and he built these toolboxes on his truck. And my uncle swears that he saw, on more than one occasion, he saw people taking pictures of his toolboxes on his truck.
You know, they're like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah. My grandpa never did that for anybody else. And but I think that it could, like, I'm not going to sit here and try to say that, you know, whoever invented the toolbox stole the idea from him. The truck toolbox. But it's possible. My grandpa was an extremely talented man, and I never known him to mess with anything that he didn't fix. You can have some. You know, you don't have to ask. See how you do. So tomorrow the new I think tomorrow is, I'm a fan of horror movies, and tomorrow the Predator prequel comes out, I believe, if anybody cares. But it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I'm excited to watch it. But I was excited to watch the Book of Boba Fett too. Anybody knows me, they know from the time Empire Strikes Back came out, Boba Fett was my favorite character. Even though he had like the shortest amount of screen time out of all the characters, I still really dug him, and the character was my favorite character to play with. And I like The Mandalorian. I won't do any spoilers or anything, but to be honest, I liked the Book of Boba Fett. I feel like they did a lot of things. How do I put it? I feel like they could have did better. Put it that way. And I also feel like Boba Fett would not have done some of the things that they had him do in that. You didn't forget about Michael, did you? I don't know what it was that he needed. Okay. Just reminding me, that's all. So I guess I kind of went for a little bit more of a little bit more of a lot of newer Star Wars, smaller shows, and they keep adding to the lore of the movies, and I'm hoping they keep the quality at a good pace. Well, I might be the worst person to talk to about Star Wars, but I'll do it for hours if you want to. Like, I love Star Wars. I loved it since I was a little kid. I'm gonna die dreaming about Star Wars and loving Star Wars. Like, I don't know if Book of Boba Fett will get a second season. There's some rumors that say it won't. However, they did say also that we will see Boba Fett in other things. So that's good. Book of Boba Fett, for me, it was... I liked it. But I found issue with certain things, if you know what I mean. That being said, I watched the whole thing, and I'll probably watch it again. I just I just feel like I'll tell you this, I feel like I know the character Boba Fett better than the people who made the show The Book of Boba Fett. And even though I don't have any canon or anything to back it up, like I'm not I don't have any comic book knowledge or any storybook knowledge or whatever you want to call it. I don't have anything to go off of. All I know is that in my mind, Boba Fett would not have done some of the things that he did in that show. And you didn't watch it. I'll leave it there. And do I think you should watch it? I do. I think it was flawed? I think it was flawed. However, I really, really, really am torn about the new movies. You know, 7, 8, and 9 in the Star Wars saga. I'm torn because I liked them, but I almost feel like everybody expected me to hate them. And like I went to school with kids, and we both shared a love. We all shared a love for Star Wars. The kids I'm talking about, and I just didn't hate. I didn't hate the movies as much as everybody that's slamming them. And I just didn't hate them as much as everybody else hated them, I guess. And I think it sucks because, like, Solo, I thought Solo was a good movie. Like, I enjoyed it. Even if you didn't watch it, the only thing that I hated about Solo was I thought that giant monster that looked like a giant octopus in the middle of outer space, I thought that seemed pretty stupid to me. I don't know. Now, honestly, that is really had no bearing on the movie for me. Like, I wasn't like, oh, that movie's ruined now. I still liked it, and there's a scene in that movie where he's in a room that's all kinds of treasure in it. And when I was in the movie theater watching it, I saw the armor that looks like it's Mandalorian armor in that room, and I was like, oh shit. You know, I was waiting for Boba Fett through the whole movie. I really was. Because it's been widely known that Boba Fett is... Han Solo and Boba Fett hate each other. So, like, I have felt like... I felt like Boba Fett was missing from that movie. And they kind of just like threw in a whole bunch of new characters that when they already had a really they already had a big well to go to and get stuff from. They didn't need to make all those new characters that nobody knew, and I'm okay with it because I really do love the movie. And yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like, you know, they had a couple people chasing Han Solo around that movie. It could have easily been something to do with Boba Fett. And, you know, I think that if they would have added Boba Fett to that movie, some of the older fans would have really... All they had to do was put Boba Fett in the trailer to that movie, and that movie would have sold as many tickets as The Force Awakens did, because people found out Luke Skywalker was going to be in it. And I think when they found out Luke Skywalker was going to be in that movie, they really... Like, I sat in the theater waiting for him to show up. And I think he had like maybe 2 minutes of screen time in the movie. Which I felt like that was ridiculous, honestly. Like, I just really did. Like, and I would argue probably with people that hate the Disney Star Wars movies. Like, I'm just happy like somebody's making them. Like, Lucas had all these years to make these movies, and I don't know what he was doing. Like, I love the Lucas Star Wars movies more than the ones that he didn't do. But if the only way I can get new Star Wars movies is alright, thank you very much. You have a good night. And maybe I'll catch you tomorrow if you stream. Here, let me give you a little close up. I put a mouth on him. Can you see it? It's trying to focus. Got a little tooth for sticking out on each side there. Are you watching? Can you see it? I put a lot more detail in the face, actually. You have a good night, Standing Leather, and thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. Huh? Thank you, baby. See his booty tail? Got a little booty tail. Huh?
Watching a commercial because I had to refresh it.
You refreshed it and got a commercial?
Yeah.
Well, watch those commercials because it supports the channel.
I have to watch it.
Huh?
I have to watch it.
Huh?
I didn't see the booty.
You didn't see the booty tail?
No.
Alright, I'll show you. Oh. See this line right down his chest? That's wood grain. It's kind of interesting that it ended up right down the middle of his body. Did you see the teeth? I think I need the newer cameras or something because they take forever to focus. Well, here's the tail. What the hell happened? Here's the tail. Just a little bump on this. You can see it right there. Just a little bump. And I don't know what this is painted with, but it really feels like it's not dry yet. It doesn't come off on your skin or anything. But when I pick it up, it feels like it's going to come off on my skin. What do you think about the Big Bear, Randy? You think I could you think I would improve on it, or I would ruin the gift that I gave her by messing with it?
I don't think he knows about the Big Bear.
I showed him.
The other one?
Yeah, the Big Bear. This one. Like, if I decided to do it, I would totally recarve the whole thing and then repaint them. Yeah, so is Michaela. The truth is I always wished when I bought those for her, I always wished that I just looked at them and then made her bears myself. It in my mind it could go either way. Like, I know she loves them because I bought them for her, but would she love them more if I made them cooler? And because I did it, you know. I don't know.
I don't know. No beef with you.
Well, my biggest worry, like,
I think if you got a bunker book, you could scratch better.
what's that?
I think if you got a bunker book, you could scratch, that would be better.
Yeah.
We don't have a big bunker book like that.
The truth of the matter is, for what they charge for big blocks of wood like that, if I knew for a fact what kind of wood that was underneath there, I probably could have bought those bears and then carved several different things out of the bear a lot cheaper than I could buy a block of wood big enough to make that bear. Like, that's
Yeah.
Pretty much. I think so.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe tomorrow do another bird
Mhm.
or something else,
Mhm.
and paint like all three of these things at the same time.
Good idea.
I really enjoyed painting the cardinal.
I love how it turned out.
We're probably going to do what you want to do with that cardinal too. We don't have to talk about it. But I can make more. Yeah. Oops. Well, there he is. What do you think? I think he's very great. That was cool. Did you see the toes? Got tippy toes. Alright, I am going to call it there and go pay a visit to somebody. So I'll go pay this guy a little visit.
People, like of the backstory. Maybe you can choose to play as the Arcos!